Hey everybody, this is Joel Meek with Meek Insurance Group, and I wanted to cover a wind mitigation inspection. This is a huge item for discounts for certain homes. So the question is, what is it and should I get one? It's a good question. First thing is, what is it? Who should even consider it? Why was it even created? And the easiest way to explain that is back in 2002, the state of Florida changed their building codes pretty significantly to help make sure that all the homes built at that point and later were going to really be able to withstand strong hurricane force winds. So what this form is doing is it's saying that any home that was built before that, because they don't know for sure if it's going to meet all of those criteria, this form is going to be completed by an inspector, and it's going to identify which of the discounts, if any, should be applied to that home for insurance purposes. So if the house was built in 2002 or later, this isn't going to add a ton of value, maybe no extra value. And the main reason is because you're automatically going to be getting all of those discounts without having to get one, okay? Now, one main exception is going to be hurricane protection. And what I mean by that is hurricane shutters. So most of the companies will give you all of the building codes, but because shutters kind of went back and forth on which areas required them and which ones did not, then the hurricane shutter discount by a lot of companies is not automatically given even after 2002 because they don't know for sure if that house had it. That was not a statewide requirement. So the hurricane shutters, if your house has all, and I mean all glazed openings and the garage door meet the strong hurricane protection codes, then you might benefit from getting one of the wind mitigation inspections. But I would talk with your agent or give us a call first before you spend money on the inspection and then find out it didn't really help you, okay? So there's a quick explanation of what the inspection's doing, why they even have these. So again, in summary, if your house was built prior to 2002, then you probably would benefit from getting a wind mitigation inspection. If it was 2002 or later, then it's probably not going to help much unless you possibly had full hurricane shutter or window protection, including the garage, and again, that would show up on the report, but otherwise there's really not much benefit to get one, okay? All right, so let's talk about the wind mitigation inspection categories, all right? The first one is going to be Florida Building Code. So here's what we're looking at here. When the inspector goes out, they're looking for the permit for that roof. So for example, if the house was built in 2002 or later, again, just like I said earlier, none of this even matters because they already know everything meets. But let's say the house was built in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or anytime prior to 2002, then if the roof was replaced with a permit, that is really important. I sure hope that everyone, anytime they have a roof replacement, that is done with a permit and done properly. But as long as there was a permit pulled, then you're going to get credit for the Florida Building Code, the FBC discount on the form, okay? That's probably one of the easiest ones as long as the roof was replaced with a permit after 2002, okay? Actually, it's after March 2002 to be technical. All right, so that's the FBC building code, okay? Number 2 item on this, that is going to be how is the roof deck, which are the plywood underneath the roofing, how is that attached to the actual roof truss? So what they're looking for there is what size nail was used. Is it 6D, which is the older, smaller nail, or is it the 8D, which is the larger, longer nails, because those are going to hold a lot better. So they're looking to see, are the 6D or the 8D nails, and they're looking to see what kind of spacing was used for the nail pattern. So were these done on every 12 inches? Was it on every 8 or 6 inches? And what they're looking for here for the best discount is a 6-inch or better spacing. So if you've got the smaller nails and they're spaced every 12 inches, not going to get much discount, extra discount on it. Whereas if these are 8D nails and they're spaced at 6 inches or better, then you're going to get a much better discount. All right, so that is item 2. Item 3 is going to be looking specifically is how is this roof, like the roof trusses, how are they attached to the horizontal ceiling joists? And what they're looking for here is, was this just toe-nailed in with nails? As what toe-nail means, they've just used nails to toe it in. Or did they actually add extra hurricane clips or hurricane straps, whether single wraps or double wraps? Because what those are doing is they're adding significantly extra protection when the winds start pulling up on it. So they have to be on every single truss. Okay, it's really, really important. Second thing that they're looking for specifically is how many nails do they have holding these straps in place. The minimum requirement is 3 on every single truss. I say that because I've got quite a few people that we've seen that were built mostly in the 70s and 80s, some of the early 90s, where they did have the clips, but they only had 2 nails in it, and the 3 is the minimum now. So they may have had the clips, but without the nail, they're not going to get credit. So that's really, really important, and that is the next item that we wanted to cover, because this is actually probably the largest discount from a wind mitigation inspection in the report. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the roof shape. Now, technically, you can probably determine this anyway, and a good agent's going to be able to determine this and apply these discounts, but the wind mitigation inspection is going to be able to confirm it if there's any gray area in terms of what the roof shape is. I'm just going to cover the 2 main roof shapes. There's a hip roof shape and a gable roof shape, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into the entire definition. I'm just going to very quickly explain. A hip roof shape is effectively like a pyramid. Every single side is angling down and coming down to a horizontal roof edge, and it's pretty simple, right? You can have complexity with the roof, but every single side is sloping down and coming to a horizontal end. A gable, however, if you think about a gingerbread house, it's where you effectively have the roofing go straight to an end and then just stop. So that is a gable, right? So what you don't have, you basically have 2 ends that are angling up instead of sloping down to the end. All right, so to get the hip credit, which is the better credit, by the way, what they're looking for is no more than 10% of the entire exterior roof line can be anything other than hip, okay? So if you've got 85% hip and 15% gable, you're not going to get the discount. 10%, that is a hard and fast rule across the state and with the wind mitigation, so just know that. The next thing that they're looking at specifically is called secondary water resistance. Now, in general, this is not your biggest discount, but if someone has had a new roof that was put on, like replaced, one of the questions a roofer will ask is, do you want to add the peel and stick or the secondary water resistance? And what this is it's basically a double-sided sticky tape, is the easiest way to explain it, that goes it goes on top of the roof decking, the plywood, and it goes on there before they put on the whatever the exterior material, whether it's shingles or tile or the metal. And what that's doing is it's creating 2 things. Number one, another waterproof barrier in case something goes wrong with the top layer, but it's also a double-sided stickiness, so that's hopefully going to be able to help hold the top layer onto the roof decking, so that way it's even less likely to give in case of something happen with heavy winds. All right, so there's that item. The final item we're going to talk about, and I kind of alluded to it at the very beginning, and that is the hurricane protection. This is for openings. So what they're looking for here is every single opening in the house that's glazed has got to have the hurricane protection. Again, if you're missing anything at all, skylights or side window panels or anything, you're not going to get this discount. Some of the companies are even more strict, and they say not only is it got to be every glaze, but that garage door is going to have to also meet the very, very strong hurricane protection. So it's going to have the larger beams and things holding that behind the garage door itself. So those are the requirements that are going to go into the hurricane protection portion of the inspection as well. A couple other quick notes here. The inspection documents. It says right on the form, they're good for up to 5 years. Some companies may allow it to just linger on a little longer, but most of them take a 5-year approach, which is fair. That's what the document says. So just know that you may need to get one every 5 years. If and when you're wanting the discounts and they won't take it anymore, you may just need to get a refreshed one. Certainly, if it's on the same form, that hopefully the answers will be the same. If it was done properly, but if they ever change the form or the criteria, then it's going to be up to whatever that new form is. Last thing I would say is the pictures. If they're going to give you credit for some sort of discount on how the roof is connected, they're going to want the pictures. Now, this is part of the inspection process. You don't have to do this. The inspector's going to do this. But if they're saying that you've got the hurricane clips or straps and 3 nails, they're going to have to see the photo of it up in your attic. If they're going to say that you've got 8D nails on 6-inch spacing, they're going to have a stud finder marking the 2x4 or 2x6, 2x8. And they're going to show the length of the nail, and they're going to show the spacing of the nail. So and if there's window protection, if there's secondary water, all those things, there's going to have to be photos to back up and prove why they're giving you that discount on that report. You want to make sure to keep a copy of this report for yourself. Usually they're given electronically now by the inspector. You want to make sure to forward one into your agent or insurance company, and then they're going to make sure to apply that properly for you. So if you have any questions, always ask your agent. You can always give us a call. We love helping people make sure they get the right coverage and the best price. Again, my name is Joel Meek with Meek Insurance Group.